Today I'm going to share with you two techniques that I love to use to trick people. Only two though. So I'm a security consultant. I work for All Covered, the IT services division of Konica Minolta. I work in the GRC space as well as social engineering and awareness. So I'm really excited to be in a room full of awareness people. Also, I hold a DEF CON black badge for social engineering, and for those of you who are not familiar with DEF CON, it is the largest gathering of security researchers and hackers in the world. And this year is its 26th year, and actually it starts tomorrow in Las Vegas, and there will be probably about 25,000 people there from all over the world. And competitions are a focal point, and so I have one of those. So here's my fine print. We're going to hear some audios of real social engineering calls today, and all of these calls are real calls from engagements that I did, and everybody you hear on a call was in a single-party consent state. So for any of you who are saying, is it legal to record? Yes. So it was within bounds. So I always like to get the party started right away. Let's listen to one.
Thank you for holding. How may I help you?
Hi there. I was on hold waiting for somebody. This is Julie from the P, and I need to do a scan of your system
I do the
to check
scanning.
for. Oh, okay, great. I'm doing a series of calls to set up scans to check for the Heartbleed vulnerability. I don't know if you've seen that on the news in the last couple weeks.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, it's about certificates and encryption and stuff like that. So we want to do scans of the machines to make sure that none of our patient information is in jeopardy. So it'll only take a couple minutes and shouldn't disrupt anything that you currently have running on the machine, but I need the computer number in order to do that.
It's T.
T1? Okay.
Oh, wait till you hear what comes.
That's if you want us to get records from your recent doctor you just left. Oh. That's if.
The scan doesn't disrupt anything because I'm not scanning.
Hello.
Yeah, it looks like that machine is susceptible, and I'm going to need to do a patch, it's not hard, but I will need your ID and password in order to get that installed right away.
Okay. Is L capital M, lowercase y, ASIA 707.
Capital M, Y, ASIA, and 7, you said?
07. You have your
07.
No, I have my beneficiary number.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, you should be all set.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes,
Bye.
thank you very much. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
All patched. Have a good day. So this is an example of a fake IT or a fake help desk call, and that's something I always like to do. I like to think that that's going to be a low bar because one of our most common time-honored security awareness messages is never share your password, right? IT will never ask you for your password. So I always am hopeful when I do these calls that I'm going to get some good resistance. And 50-50, maybe? Yeah. Yes. So how does this happen? Who thought that sounded awfully easy? Right? I just asked. She just gave it to me. How does that happen? Let me tell you. It doesn't happen. I don't simply pick up the phone and start calling. There's a process to all of it. And whether you're a good guy or a bad guy, social engineer, we all follow a similar kind of process. You start off your project, you have goals and requirements. Everyone has a boss. Everybody has a project objective of some sort. And the next thing we do is research. Now, the next speaker is going to talk about open source intelligence gathering, so you're going to want to pay attention to that guy. So I'm not going to talk really too much about research and how it's done. Really, Google gets you a long way. So we do a lot of research and figure out what's out there about your organization and where is a good potential toehold. Do some analysis on what we found. Uh-oh. What happened? What happened to my mic? Can everyone hear me? There we go. Thank you. Technology. So we figure out what's the good angle for an email, for a phone call, for an on-site visit, and then we do that. We call up, we email, we show up. And it works or it doesn't, right? Like everything. If it doesn't work, that's always good information. So even when a campaign element doesn't get me my objective, I don't really think of it as a fail, because I always get more information that allows me to refactor and make it better for next time. And when a social engineering attack succeeds, most often that's not the end goal. There's going to be probably some pivot moving on to technical attacks. Now that we've just asked somebody for their password, why do all the other fancy stuff? I could just call and ask somebody. So this is how that happens. Now, some of the things, I do a lot of homework before I make calls, or especially phone calls or on-site. Some particular things that I look for that I almost always use include what's timely. So the call we just heard, I referred to the Heartbleed vulnerability. So that was in the mainstream news at the time I was making those calls. So that was a current event. I also look for what's a current event for your organization. Do you have some big events or charity drives or whatever coming up? Did you have some events in the recent past that I can use as part of my pretext? I want to leverage credibility that other people have built. Why do that myself? I want to know who your vendors are. Vendor case studies, as far as I'm concerned, are gold, and I find those almost every time, where somebody else has described the problem you're having, the technology that was replaced, who they worked with, the fantastic outcome. So if it was worth the 5% discount, if you got that, now I've got a great way to be a trusted person talking to your organization. I also look for names I can drop. We'll hear some examples of that. That's always a good thing. And language. I want to know what you call employees, what you call your help desk, what are the right department names. Those are all things that make whatever I do sound convincing, sound true. When people encounter on the receiving end of social engineering, there's a continuum of how they respond. And that first call that we heard, it represents one end of the continuum, where it's not a stressful situation because they don't realize anything happened. At worst, it was a little bit annoying because now they had to talk to someone from IT. That was the amount of their stress. But if someone doesn't realize something's happening, it's not stressful. The other end is people who are, and everybody knows this person, where they're like really skeptical, and as soon as they think that anything is even a little bit wrong, they're all over you. So here's what that sounds like. It's not stressful, like they are prepared.
Hello. Hi there. This is Julie from United Hope. I'm doing a quick survey today to ask, what are you thankful for this holiday season?
This is a work number.
Yes. Yes.
So why are you calling me at work to ask me a question like this?
We're actually kicking off a partnership with for a new charity portal, and I'm making calls from the list of numbers I was given by my supervisor.
Okay, that you would have gotten from...
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, and where are you from?
United Hope.
And where is United Hope based out of?
United Hope is based out of Minneapolis.
Out of Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And they're partnering with...
Yes. United Hope helps organizations increase the reach of their charity dollars. And so we're kicking off a partnership with and launching a new portal next week. So answers from this survey are going to be used for a contest that we're going to start next week. So I was given a list of numbers to call and just ask people what they're thankful for.
Okay, by your supervisor, do you know the contact person who gave your supervisor the list of numbers?
That would be Kirsten.
Kirsten. Perfect. How do you like all those questions?
Yeah.
You were thinking, boy, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm sorry I got this girl's number. Well, sometimes we just never know who's calling from where, and it's been kind of a day. So, first of all, it has been. So I am thankful for many things, but one of those specifically is a roof over my head and food on the table for our family. And the second is the job that enables us to keep doing that.
Wonderful. Now, those are great things to be thankful for, aren't they?
Absolutely.
All right, well, that was all I needed today.
Yay, well, you have an awesome day and a great Thanksgiving.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Can you even imagine if I'd tried asking her for a password? Oh my gosh. And you'll learn later on, we'll get back to the what are you thankful for thing. There was a reason that really was the complete call, but oh my gosh. So this was not stressful for her in that she didn't know what to do. She was all over me instantly. And that is why I do so much homework before I call or show up in person, because I could just as easily get the first person or the second person. Anytime the phone rings or I walk through a door, it could be either. So I'm prepared. So I actually had all of those answers already figured out before I dialed the phone. And I always will now, too. So, so those were the ends of the continuum, but in the middle, and what I really feel is how it is for most people when they realize that they're in the middle of a social interaction and now something doesn't seem right. That's a really stressful situation. And if there is one thing that you really remember and take away from my presentation today, it's this next call that I want you to pay attention to.
This is Amanda.
Hi, Amanda. This is Julie from... How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. We usually push patches for vulnerabilities, but we had a couple issues, and I need to see if the last patch took. I just need a couple minutes of your time to check something for me.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Okay. Are you still on Windows 7? You would know because the logo is like a blue circle, like the start button is a blue circle with a, okay.
Yep.
All right. So if you can click on that start button and then click on Control Panel.
Okay.
Then in the Control Panel window, do you see something called Administrative Tools?
It's a process.
Yes.
Okay. Do you see something that says View Event Logs?
Oh, yeah. It helped. Yeah. All right. Yes. Well, I see Event Viewer.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Okay.
So the Event Viewer window came up?
It's thinking.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes it takes a minute.
Yep. Okay. Event Viewer.
All right. Perfect. In the left column, there should be something that says Windows Logs.
Yep.
You click that one,
Okay.
and then click System,
Okay.
and then it's probably going to think for a minute.
Yeah. It says in progress.
Yeah. When it finishes, do you see the level label at the top of the first column?
Yep. I think it just finished. Yep.
Oh, okay. So if you can click that level label at the top of the first column, it'll take a second for that to sort. And then when it does that,
Okay.
if you can scroll to the top and tell me what you see.
It says, well, at the very top it says critical 82616, and then it's got a bunch of things that say error and then warning.
Oh, okay. See, that's what I was afraid of. That's why I'm doing these calls. So that means that the patch didn't work, and so I need to do a special installation. So I'll need your logon and password so I can fix that from here, and then when I'm done, I'll send you a password reset.
Okay. Okay. You don't just want to remote into my computer?
No, it's better if I do it this other way.
I'm kind of confused because everybody always tells me never to give my password to anybody, but I know you're IT, so I'm not sure what I should do.
Well, I mean, I'll send you a password reset when it's done, so it should be no big deal.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
It's A1.
Okay. All right.
I'm still nervous. Like, can you just reset my password and do it that way from the beginning?
No, I need to reset your password after, so then it's not. Yeah, so then it's like a new one that only you will know. That's why I said I'd send the password reset afterwards.
Okay. Can I just be kind of annoying and just ask what your last name is?
Oh, sure. My last name is Julie Banks. Banks. And I just started with which is why I get to do the calling 75 people on my list.
I'm sorry, because I know I'm being ridiculous, but you don't actually come up in anything, so I'm really not comfortable giving you my password.
All right, well, that's understandable. I get that. So, all right, well, I can. Oh, go ahead.
I can call you back if that's okay. Just let me ask.
Or I can actually just put you on a list, and when we'll come walk around and do that. So I can put you on a list for follow up. It's not a problem.
Okay. Well, can I call you back in the morning?
Sure.
Okay. What number should I call you back at?
You can just call the main service number. Call our number, the 296.
Okay. All right. I'll do that in the morning then. Okay. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thanks a lot, Amanda.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Round of applause for Amanda. Yeah. So this is a very similar call to a lot of the fake Microsoft calls. And you're walking somebody through something that seems complicated, and now they're complying. And so that kind of sets up the interaction. But she knew, like she did all the right things. Like, hey, why aren't you following the process I'm used to? Don't you remote in? That's what IT usually does. Hey, I don't think I'm supposed to share my password with you. This is a little weird. Can I have your last name so I can look you up in the directory? Great. And can I have your phone number so I can call you back? That's a killer on social engineering calls, because I spoof the number that shows up. Nobody can call me back. I don't have a number anyone can call me back at. So that's usually terrible for me. So she did all the right things, but could everybody hear how hard that was? How many times did she apologize? And she was doing all the things that she should do. And it was really hard. She identified that something wasn't right, and she was the one. She shouldn't be the one questioning what she's doing. She was doing all the right things. But it's stressful when somebody realizes that something's not right. It's, hopefully anyway, it's an unusual circumstance. And the whole crux of the social engineering stuff is we're asking you to do something. Tell me a piece of information, or hold the door, or click the link. We want you to do something right away with as little thought about it as possible, preferably. How many of you have had the circumstance where somebody says something and then like 2 hours later or 2 days later you think of the perfect comeback? Right? It's hard to think on your feet, and with this, the stakes are so much higher than just having a really good, snappy comeback. And often you have to violate social norms to resist or to say no. That's hard. That's really difficult for people, and that's why social engineering works, right? And that's when security decisions happen for your organization. When you've got somebody who's in this really unusual situation. So that is, if you remember anything, I want you to remember that is the circumstance under which somebody is making a choice for your whole organization, no matter what else you have in place. That's the moment. So what happened after that was I had to keep making phone calls. I was a little concerned now that I was going to have a lot of phone calls like that. So I make a new call the next morning. Hey, got credentials that time. And I was able to log into the company intranet site. From there, I got the company directory, and there were 2 great things about that. One, I got myself a new name. Goodbye, Julie Banks. There was, since I had the company directory, I could actually just go look up the help desk department, and there was one woman who worked in that department. Guess whose name I used when I made calls after that? I don't like awkwardness any more than anyone else does. So enough of this, I don't see you in the directory stuff. Okay, this is better. But also, importantly, where I had really had to kind of scrape and scratch to find some phone numbers to actually use to do this, now I've extended the reach of my social engineering effectiveness because I've got the whole company directory. Now I can see the departments, who works in them, their user IDs, because they just had a formula for putting those together. So now my script can change to say that I'm validating your user ID is blah, blah. And I've got people's extensions. It's great. So I'm very happy about that. The other thing, and the person I got credentials from, this is an important point, was not somebody who had any special access. They weren't from HR or finance or IT or patient records or any department like that that has the traditional access to sensitive information. But they did have, because everybody on the company intranet could see their special internal newsletter. Super. And it was, like a normal company newsletter. And it had monthly birthdays. Now, nobody is going to say, oh my God, that's our crown jewels. They found out who has a birthday in August. So it was particularly satisfying as a social engineer to find this information that no one is going to be excited about. Like the client would probably say, wow, way to go, Jen, how much do we pay for this? But it gave me a beautiful idea for a fish and a portal spoof. So I did a fish where the wellness department says, happy birthday from wellness. Click here and to sign in and get a voucher for a free drink from the lobby cafe. And that was really effective because it just had a link to, we spoofed the intranet portal. And who doesn't want a birthday latte, right? It's not, so there's this enticement, but it's not too much. It's not $1 million. It's something that you'd hope that your employer is going to, give you birthday coffee, right? It doesn't seem outlandish. So now this brings me to the second thing that I love to do on social engineering engagements, and that's portals. And where the help desk call hopefully should represent something more like a low bar, portals can be really tricky. And they are something that is used by malicious parties. And but again, wanting also to avoid awkwardness, I never have to say, I'm going to need your password. I just ask someone to sign in to a page, and then I get credentials. So score. And they vary depending on whatever my research showed me about the organization, what I think is an effective toehold. So it could be a fake payroll, because we all care about our paychecks. Charity, so that was the United Hope, fake charity portal, and the fake intranet page. Now they all functioned a little bit differently, but here we'll listen to, hopefully, technology won't let me down, and we'll hear a pair of calls around the charity portal. So I got grilled a little less on this one.
That's right.
Hi, this is Julie from United Hope. I'm doing a quick survey today to ask, what are you thankful for this holiday season?
From where? I'm sorry?
United Hope. We help organizations increase the reach of their charity dollars, and we're kicking off a partnership with...
Okay, and how'd you get my number? Or who is it?
I'm working with Kirsten, and we're launching our new portal next week, and answers from this survey are going to be used for an upcoming contest.
I see. Okay. Sure. So I guess what was the question?
Oh, what are you thankful for this holiday season?
I guess family and just having a job. That's lame as it is.
Yep. Those are great things to be thankful for. And that's all
Absolutely.
I need today.
Oh, great.
Yeah, have a great Thanksgiving.
Thanks, you too. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Again, nobody's sensitive information here. Nobody's going to be like, oh my God, now I know what people are thankful for. But here, so this is what makes this tricky. Here's the companion call.
Hi, it's Frank.
Hey, Frank. This is Julie from United Hope. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. We spoke on the day before Thanksgiving. I called and was asking about what you're thankful for this this holiday season. Yep. And I mentioned a portal that we were rolling out, and now it's up. And I was wondering if you had a minute to go take a look at the site and just sign in and look at our voting thing that we're using just to kind of introduce everybody to the site.
I don't have time right now, but I mean, if you, I can write it down and take a look at what the website is.
Yeah, that would be great. It's really easy. It's just unitedhope.org.
Unitedhope.org, just spelled, I'm guessing how
yep.
it should be. Okay.
Yep. All right, and it'll take you right to the partner login page, and then that'll bring you to a little voting site, and then when you vote and click submit, you'll be entered to win a gift card.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Sounds
all
great.
Right. Okay, awesome. Right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Julie.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone loves gift cards, right? So while he didn't go on the call, true to his word, Frank did go to the site later and signed in and did the survey, because I had it there. It's rude not to. And there, now I have senior finance manager credentials for a financial institution. So what was I thankful for? Social engineering. So, so these are all the tricky things that happen. And what, oh, right, portals. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So just to show you, give you an idea of how this works, this is the fake payroll example. And if you can't read the smaller print on there, it doesn't really matter. So we spoof a page because a lot of companies outsource payroll. That's a very common process to outsource. And everything that has the green arrow pointing to it that's in the border area, if you hover your mouse over it to check what the link says, it says the right thing. And if you click on it to see what happens, it goes to the right place. So it really goes to Payroll Co. It really goes to their socials. And that, obviously, I can tell, this defies, part of the training that we always give people, like, oh, hover your mouse, see if it's okay first. That all makes it look very credible and very legitimate. And the magic all happens in the middle, where we'd have the organization's logo. Those are super easy to get. And it just says, hey, use your corporate username and password, sign in. And then when someone clicks the login page, we collect those credentials. And depending on the enticement, I mean, I've had people attempt multiple times with different forms of their credentials. That's great information. I never would have known. And for each circumstance, what actually happens is different. So for Payroll Co., it came up with an error message that it wasn't, technology disappoints, right? That's very credible. For the intranet portal, the person would enter their credentials, and when they clicked login, it would just pop them to the real intranet site. So you think that you've miskeyed your password. I do that every time I type my password, practically. So, you retype it, and you're into the regular page. So no vouchers for lattes, but you're on the intranet site. And for United Hope, I mean, we really did have a little site built where you could see you could participate in the survey, and hey, thanks, you've been submitted for a drawing. So the portals are tricky. So what to do? So every organization has people that are considered like higher risk groups, the people who have access to the really sensitive and valuable information. But everybody, and I know I am talking with the choir here, everybody needs training. Because even if I get somebody with a low level of access, I mean, it's worth the effort. And you all have data and who knows what else that's worth it to somebody to take their time, and we will. We all know rules don't help you. I mean, everybody probably has a policy that you should never share your password. That does not help you when there's something weird, you have this like weird situation going on. If you actually have process in place for it, now people know what they're supposed to do when somebody asks for a piece of information that they're not supposed to disclose. And then you're taking away the circumstance where people have to have no choice but to make a snap decision. That's what you don't want. So wire fraud or password resets are a couple great examples where if you have a really solid process in place, not just a documented one, but one that people honestly use, it's very protective. Get people to talk to each other and not just click the phishing button, which I think those are fantastic, but talk amongst yourselves. Tell your neighbor if you just got a weird phone call, because that kind of cuts a lot of those things off, those kinds of attacks where people are going to call again and again. You can tell when they're onto you. And so this helps. It helps make these kinds of attacks more visible. People have to know that it is okay to say no, and do not make exceptions for entitled VIPs at your company. That breaks everything. And I know you guys know that. It's so important, though. And tell them not just that it's okay to say no, how to say no. This is a really good opportunity to be able to, you want people to say no. You don't want them to be rude, just in case that was a legitimate call and a legitimate caller. This is your way to give people a brand-appropriate way to have that kind of interaction when somebody requests something off-topic or that you're not supposed to disclose. And this, when someone just says, sorry, I can't tell you that, how else can I help you? And they just repeat that, there is nothing you can ask for that they're going to give you. You're done. And you've got to cut bait and move on. And it help people for physical. I always find pictures of badge photos. The bigger your organization is, and the bigger your brand is, people are going to do this. Give them a way to share their exciting news without taking a picture of their badges and putting them online. So it's weird being social engineered. It's uncomfortable. We need to give people what they need to resist in an effective and confident way. Consider the power of ceremony in your key processes, where it's not just a documented process, but it's something that that interaction really gives you some emotional energy as well. So here's the summary. Check the low bar if you think that nobody in your organization is going to give a password when somebody says, hey, I need your password. Check that. Hopefully you won't be surprised, but you may be. Find if you have domain names that are very similar to your organization's domain name. Get those, if they're available, buy them and get them out of the way so somebody else can't use that against you. Like an L instead of an I, where visually they look the same. Figure out where people need scripts. And the last thing is this book called Ceremony. It's the best 99 cents you'll spend on Kindle today. where he really talks about the power of ceremony in business process and how to put that together. That's it. Thank you. Let's make everything better, you guys. Great. Thank you.